Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, I'll be asking a very simple question. What is the fastest mode of transportation in Grand Theft Auto Online? There are obviously many ways to get from point A to point B. Let's pretend I'm chillin' where I am at LSIA, and then boom, my weed business gets an alert that it's being raided, and it's the one where if you don't get there fast enough, you start losing money in your product. So I have to get there as fast as possible. Obviously, I can't do my hop into a new session and change my spawn location because that's going to get rid of the objective and I'm going to lose all my product. So you have to stay in the session, and what is the fastest mode of transportation? That is exactly what we're going to be finding out in today's video. The first one we're going to be starting off with is the Sparrow, because the Sparrow is by far one of the easiest vehicles to spawn. As you can see, it's right over here. As soon as I get in the Sparrow, which is now, I'm going to start the timer. I'm going to set my way, well, actually, we don't really need to set a waypoint. I'm just going to start off with the Sparrow, and we'll see how fast we get there. Now, I personally believe that the fastest of all the transportation might actually be the Kosatka. I know, sounds kind of weird, but the Kosatka obviously has a fast travel ability. And with that fast travel ability, it's very possible to just teleport from one point of the map to the other. The problem with the Kosatka's fast travel is that you have to fly to the Kosatka after you call it in, and then you have to fly out of the Kosatka to the location. So maybe it actually won't be the fastest. I'm second guessing myself. Maybe it will be the Sparrow. Now, the Sparrow is actually the fastest flying helicopter in the game at a top speed of 168 miles per hour. The problem is that it flies a little bit down. You can see here when I fly at full speed, it goes more down when you keep going faster and faster. And the problem with that is that you'll never be able to stay at your top speed for more than like 30 or 40 seconds because then you have to let go up a little bit and continue doing that. So that's the problem with the Sparrow. Because of that, you probably average about $140, $150, which is still pretty dang fast. I mean, it's about 1 minute and 15 seconds in, and we are, I would say, about halfway there, which is not bad at all. So we're making our way. Oh, darn, that was a signal jammer. Too bad I couldn't get that. So now let's fly over here, and I should actually be able to keep my top speed for a while here because the elevation obviously changed. Oh, I did not see that, what is that, a power cable? Until it was almost too late. At nighttime, it's almost hard to see those power cables. Aren't they supposed to have, like, red lights flashing? Although I guess planes aren't supposed to fly this slow in real life. Let's be completely honest here. So, we're almost there. It's been about 1 minute and 50 seconds, and the weed business is maybe another 20 seconds down the highway here. I mean, we're basically almost there. So this was a pretty fast travel, I have to say, for the Sparrow. I mean, not only did we get to the weed business, but we basically went across the entire map in about 2 minutes. It showcases just how fast helicopters are at traveling. I still believe that really helicopters are the most efficient way of traveling if you can spawn them in next to you. So we are there. Now I'm going to count the landing time because helicopters do take a bit longer to land than most vehicles. So there you go. Done. 2 minutes and around 25 seconds to make my way across the map. Our next mode of transportation still involves the Sparrow, but this one is obviously with the Kosatka. So what we're going to do is, as soon as I request my Kosatka, we're going to start the timer. So here we go, and start. Okay, now I'm also going to have to go to services, and then request my Sparrow so that we can get inside the Kosatka with the Sparrow. And then we should be able to do this. So let's get off into the air. I'm really actually curious to see how fast of a travel location this is. I wanted to pick a spot on the map that wasn't across the entirety of the map because I do think at a certain point the Kosatka becomes useful on fast traveling. But at the same time, I think that when it's too far or too close of a distance, it's also gonna make a point where using the Kosatka for travel is a waste. So we are at our Kosatka. Here we go, and get inside. We're at about 40 seconds now, so it's already taken a decent chunk of time. Now we have to wait for the cutscene, which also takes a pretty dang long time. 50 seconds now, still waiting for the cutscene. Oh boy, there you go. Okay, so the cutscene has finally been reenacted. Okay, we are out of our Sparrow. Now we just gotta run to the front of our Kosatka. We gotta find the correct location to go to. Also, I should point out, you have to pay for this one, but it's not really like it matters. I think it's like $2,000 in the end of the day. So, let's see where we want to go. We want to go right about there. That's perfect, San Chiansky. All right. It's been a minute and 20 seconds on the dot. We are now moving over towards our weed farm. Then we have to get into our Sparrow once again and fly over towards the location. I don't think this is going to be the fastest mode of transport, but it's actually not going to be that slow. We're about a minute and 40 seconds in now, which means I still have like another 50 seconds before we're on par with just flying the Sparrow. The problem is this is just so much more effort than just flying to your location, obviously. So stand up. Okay. And go, 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 speed! We're definitely not going to beat the Sparrow time. Now, if you're flying across the map, honestly, I'd still probably say just flying the Sparrow is faster. I mean, it might be a little bit faster for the Kosatka, but it's so much effort to have to call it in, then fly over towards the Kosatka, then get in it, then set your location, and then do everything else. So, this is definitely going to be longer. I don't even know exactly where the weed business is. It's somewhere over these mountains, which means I have to actually fly over these mountains to begin with. Although, you know what, we might not actually have to. What we can do is we can just fly around them this way, which is where the road is. Okay, yeah, that'll work. So we're at about 2 minutes and 35 seconds right now. Oh boy, don't want to crash my Sparrow, so let's go over the bridge, and now we got to go back this way, because obviously I couldn't get around the mountains. Okay. And here we go at our location. We gotta wait for it to land. I'll count that as a landing. Perfect. So that was 2 minutes and around 50 seconds, which was definitely a lot longer than it took for our Sparrow. That took a lot longer than just flying the normal Sparrow. So already you can see that the Sparrow is a great mode of transportation. It is something that should definitely be used a lot. Our next choice of transportation is probably the worst out of all, and that is calling in a plane. First of all, when you call in a plane, you cannot spawn in a personal vehicle, which means that you have to head over to your Kosatka and request a Sparrow. Now, I'm starting the timer now. My plane has already been requested, and it actually spawned at like the worst spot ever. Even though I'm literally at the airport, and I thought I was giving the Rogue a big advantage by possibly spawning right at the runway, it didn't. You can see the Rogue actually spawned near the Merryweather Docks, which means I have to go fly my Sparrow over to the Merryweather Docks, then get out of my Sparrow to get into another flying vehicle to then make my way over towards the weed farm. Honestly, the Rogue, it's a really good plane, but the problem is, like, why don't they spawn? Well, I guess I know why they don't spawn next to you. It's because you can't really take a Rogue off on the normal street like a helicopter. Now, helicopters, I don't know why Rockstar didn't make it with the gun running, or not the gun running, the Smugglers Run update, that the helicopters, like the F-111, can't spawn next to you or whatever, the F-1 Hunter. But, oh well, let's get in the Rogue and let's start her off. Here we go. Speed, 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 speed. This is either going to go really good or really bad for our time, but we've just gotten in the air. Let's plop around the corner. Now, the Rogue actually flies faster when you go higher into the air, so that's exactly what we're going to do. This is the fastest flying vehicle behind the Pyro in the game, with a pretty crazy top speed of around 200 and I think 20 miles per hour. It's only like 2 behind the Pyro. So we're just going to keep flying up like this, and I'll give it another maybe 10 seconds or so. I would say that that's probably going to be high enough, and then we're just going to level it out. That should be good enough. Alright, so we are flying quite fast right now. As you can see just on the mini-map, we're going fast. We're definitely going faster than any other mode of transportation, apart from, I guess, fast traveling. But yeah, we're going pretty dang fast. So the real question is, how fast are we going to be able to get there? Plus, the landing has to be added in. So it's a minute and 45 seconds right now. We are just getting out of the city. And yeah, the Sparrow's still faster. I mean, the problem is, again, the Rogue, you have to leave your Sparrow and fly it over to the plane because you can't call in a personal vehicle or anything like that. Then you have to get out of the Sparrow, get in the Rogue. It's just such an extra amount of effort. Now, to be fair, we are not that far behind. The weed farm is right over here, and as you can see, we're actually keeping on par with the Sparrow. Not too bad. We're about 2 minutes and 20 seconds in, and we're almost tied with the Sparrow and getting into location, but we're still not going to beat it because we have to land this vehicle. So here we go. Let's get the landing gear out, and then let's bring it in, put on the brakes, and there you go. There's my landing. I mean, it does the job. It worked, and stop. It took us 2 minutes and around 40 seconds to make it here. Actually not bad, but it still wasn't great either. I mean, it still was slower than the Sparrow, and it's less efficient than the Sparrow, so the Sparrow is still the fastest mode of transportation. We have two more modes of transportation to go. The first one we're taking a look at is the Volatus. This can be spawned in through your SecuroServe interaction menu. And it's very easy to spawn in as long as you own one. It's absolutely free. And I am actually going to bet that this is going to be the fastest out of all the vehicles we test today, down to the simple fact that the Volatus flies upward. As we talked about earlier, when the Sparrow flies, it goes down. So when you're holding full throttle, you have to constantly let go on the Sparrow and then climb in altitude a bit and then, go back to full throttle. The Volatus, you can constantly do full throttle, as you can see like this, and you're never going to slow down, especially when you add into the fact that the Volatus is the second fastest flying helicopter in the game behind the Sparrow. I definitely think that this is going to be the fastest mode of transportation. Now, there is a problem with the Volatus, and that is it doesn't carry missiles. So it is a bit of a back and forth. If you're looking for the best of every world, I'm pretty sure the Sparrow is a no-doubt winner. I mean, the Sparrow has missiles, it has flares, and it has a great top speed. It's really maneuverable. The only problem with the Sparrow is that it's made out of, like, frickin' tin foil, so one little bullet hits it, and it's going to start smoking immediately. But the Sparrow, in all things considered, if you just need to clear a bit of AI and get the job done, will do the job very easily. The Volatus is more for if you just want to get from point A to point B as fast as possible, and you don't really care about blowing people up because you'll spawn in, a car, an insurgent, or something to blow people up there because you don't trust your Sparrow, then that is another possible way of opportunity. So we're about 1 minute and 30 seconds in. We are currently just getting over the windmill farm, and, well, we're almost there, actually. I mean, this was pretty fast. I'm not sure exactly how much we are going to either beat the Sparrow by or not beat it by, but I am going to decrease my altitude a bit because obviously we're going to have to do that, and then I'm going to give the helicopter full gas, which is going to increase our top speed by a lot. Speed! Ooh, we are very, very close. Actually, I don't know if this is going to be much faster than the Sparrow. I mean, it is, I think. We're about 2 minutes and 10 seconds now. You can see it right on the map. That's where our Rogue is. And yeah, we did beat the Sparrow, but not by much, if I'm going to be honest. It was by maybe like 5 seconds. Here we go. And boom, I'm going to count that as a landing. So yeah, by about 5 seconds we beat the Sparrow, which I guess still kind of means that the Sparrow's just as good because 5 seconds is negligent amounts of time. The final one we're going to be testing is the Motorcycle Club Oppressor Mark II. So we've called in the Oppressor. Let's make our way over towards it. I almost forgot to pull up my stopwatch, so let me do that and reset it. Okay, getting on the Oppressor as soon as we get on it. All right, started and speed. So the Oppressor is obviously a great way to get around the map fast, especially judging just how fast you can spawn it in. It carries missiles and it carries flares, which makes it one of the best and easiest ways to get around the map. The problem with the Oppressor is down to the fact that it also only has a top speed of around 130, which means that, well, this is it. This is my top speed. The Sparrow, as we said, goes 168. The Rogue goes 220. I mean, heck, the Kosatka might actually be a better way of transportation over the Sparrow. But I guess there's really only one way to find out, and that is to continue going down the highway. Now, I was tempted to use other vehicles, for example, like the Reaver, which has a top speed of 160. And as a land vehicle, that's pretty insane. But I opted not to use the Reaver down to the simple fact that, I mean, cars and motorcycles are not as fast as flying vehicles because you can fly over mountains and crap. Why would you ever use a car when you have to actually drive and weave in and out of traffic when you could just fly over traffic? So yeah, at the end of the day, it's definitely a race between the flying vehicles, and I think the Oppressor is really just the last flying vehicle I would test out. Maybe I missed one, and let me know in the comments if I did, but yeah, these are all the vehicles that I would consider to be the faster modes of transportation out there, but we're getting there. I mean, we're about 1 minute and 30 seconds in, and we're just making our way over towards the windmill farm. You can see just how much slower the Oppressor is as a mode of transportation than when it comes to the Sparrow. The reason why I think the Oppressor is a better vehicle than the Sparrow overall is down to the simple fact that this can be spawned in instantly whenever you want, and as well, it's just super useful to use in any sort of fight if you're against griefers or anything like that. The Sparrow gets killed very quickly against griefers, so that is the biggest advantage I would say personally the Oppressor has. Now right now we're at about 2 minutes on the dot. We're actually making our way there, to be fair. We're not that far behind, but we are still quite a ways away. I mean, we're not going to beat any time record by any amount. So I guess we'll just hover on the highway. I mean, you can still see we're going about 130 miles per hour, which is the same speed as if we were to fly anyway. I think it's like 131 if we fly. So we're about 2 minutes and 25 seconds now, and we're going to be a little bit behind. It's actually not that much further behind, to be completely honest. That's about 5 seconds, and we are there. So it was 2 minutes and about 35 seconds with the Oppressor Mark II, and the Sparrow was about 2 minutes and, 25 seconds? So overall, I'm actually impressed with how fast the Oppressor made it, and actually not that bad. I mean, you could easily call in the Sparrow or the Oppressor to make it to basically anywhere on the map, and you'd get there about the same time. So it's really down to personal preference. What do you like better, the Oppressor Mark II or the Sparrow? Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and hopefully this helps you out on deciding what is your favorite and what is the best mode of transportation for you in the game. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.